Hello beautiful people, this is going to be a look on how to do these brows. See them? If you're interested, then just keep on watching. So I'm not really much of a person who like plucks my brows or anything. If you want, actually I'm just going to give you a close-up look. So these are my brows. This is unplucked, this is all natural. I wouldn't say they're sparse, but like I wouldn't say they're thick. But I mean, at least I have a shape to it naturally. So if you're interested in doing a brow look and you don't like to pluck your brows, then you might really like this look actually. So you can get an eyebrow brush, like one that's actually labeled for that. But personally, I've never really had one. Another place you can get one is at the dollar store. Here's a Wet n Wild angled brush. And it's pretty good. I like it. It's not too thick. Bye! You can use this kind of brush that's just from Wet n Wild. It's like $1. I got it at the dollar store. Or this one I got was my first brush I got. It's the It brushes for Ulta. And it's just an angled brush like this. That's all you need, to be honest. Okay, so very simple steps. So the first thing you're going to want is the brush. The second thing you're going to want is water. Pretty simple, right? I know a lot of YouTubers out there like get their brushes and wet it with like setting spray or something. Personally, I don't. I just take water. Simple water. So all you're going to do, just spray it off. Don't have it like soaking wet, but if you do, it's okay. And like you can even take the brush and thin it out by going back and forth like this, so then the water kind of thins it out. See how small it is now? Okay, so if you've watched my other videos, you'll see that my spoolie was just a little plastic sampler over at Sephora. Girl, they work just as well as getting something that comes with a spoolie on it. It's a spoolie. A spoolie is always going to be a spoolie. So I just do that and I brush them out to how I want them to look. And you can even use like these little things, these little combs. I use this side to do the exact same thing. After you take the water and you spray your brush and make it nice and thin, take your powder. And it doesn't have to be a designated brow powder. You can use eyeshadows. In fact, I used to sometimes use, where is it? Where'd you go? Sometimes I used to use my own Tartelette palette, Raha. I would use some of the browns over here, and same thing. So I've talked a lot, so hopefully my brush is still wet. Just in case, I'm gonna go back in just a little bit. And we're gonna... Oh, and another thing, make sure, because I like to give PSAs of don't make the mistakes I make, make sure your brush is clean, or at least you used it last time. Like if you have the same one you use for your brows all the time, just use that one, because sometimes I'll go in with one and as you can tell, it has black all over it, and I'll put it on and you don't get the color you want. It happens. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm going to use the light shade to draw it out. Okay, so we're going to take it, and sometimes you could like flatten it out like that, to if that's what you want to do. Usually I don't do that, but I'm giving you some options here. And then I need a bigger brush and mirror than just this, because it's not going to work. Not a bigger brush, I meant a bigger mirror. So I start right here and I just make a little line. So just like that. Personally, I just draw upward. I don't even worry about curving it with it. I just want this to be one whole just straight line. So yeah, I kind of go into the brow, but that's just because I want to keep it straight. I just kind of go like this. And I go down at an angle like that. Depending on how you want your angle of your brow to be that day. That's kind of what I do. So now that we have this part done, you're all shaky, I'm sorry. So now that we have this whole part done, I'm just going to go back in with the light shade. We're not going into that dark shade yet, okay? And then I kind of start to fill it in right here. Move up a little bit. And kind of just, it's literally a rough draft. Like, this isn't going to be sculpted perfectly. Just keep it, in my opinion, I would just keep it in your brow hairs, because then we'll focus on the actual definition. But I just want to help fill in the brow at this point, because it helps me see what it's starting to look like. You have to go in with a little product. Okay. And then I'm slowly bringing it to the front. Right there, just to give it a little bit of structure. And then if you have like a little bit of product left, you can make some false brows with it, you know. There we go. I know I'm weird, but I kind of like to make sure my brush is pretty wet. Not soaking wet, but wet. Because I really want it to be defined. I take that light shade again, and now we're going to do the curve right here. So, alright. So now, I'm just going to twist the brush. See, I'm going to go like this with the brush. Twist the brush. Since the brush is still pretty wet, I'm kind of going back and I'm helping to shape out the outer parts. Right there, like, we'll take some powder, smooth it out. There we go. See how that looks compared to this and this? Looks really bold. And then I'm going to take a spoolie and I'm going to kind of brush it through. Sometimes I just keep it like this and I just let the fade of one color go through, but if you really do want to, you know, zhuzh it up a little, like I do sometimes, go in with that darker shade. So then I just focus it on the tail. So when you focus it on the tail, I just mean I personally started here and then I go to here. And then I mix the two colors and I'll put it right here sometimes just to help it blend out and be more of a faded look. And then sometimes I'll wet it again just a little bit more. It's a lot of a wet brush. That's the key to this look. And since it's a darker color, it'll give a little more definition to the edge. Like that. Okay, so giving a close look. This is the brow. It's a little patchy right here, so personally I'm gonna wipe off the rest of that darker one. I'm gonna go back in with that light one. And I'm gonna try to fill this in a little bit. Upgrade from this to this. If this is a little too much for you, you can definitely tone it down. You don't have to add the dark color to it like I do, but yeah, I'm liking it. The reason why I did it with no foundation on today, because I wanted to show a better like look at just the brows, because I feel like the foundation and everything else kind of distracts the way of how to do the brows. Give me a second and I'm going to show you what it'll look like with foundation on. Okay, so I have foundation on, so now I'm really pale, I know. So I'm just going to take some concealer and carve out my brow. And there we go. See the difference? See the difference? You tell me. I see a difference. I just am so lazy. I don't want to go through it. But since we did one, we have to do the other now. This is what it looks like carved out, and then of course we haven't put gel on it, so I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just got back from doing the rest of my makeup. So you can use regular clear mascara. I think it personally works pretty good, or you can get something that is meant to be a brow gel. This one's the Brow Gal Clear Water Resistant Eyebrow Gel. So I used the hairs and I'll do it in the way that I shape my brows. But be careful, because if you do it too much, the color of the powder will smear around your eyebrow. It's happened to me. PSA, learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. Okay? So now I'm just doing the other brow. And I really love it because the front of the brow just looks so much like, you see them, they look more defined. It just, oh, I love it. And there we go. That's literally the brows. That is how they look. I think this is a great in-betweener, to be honest, if you like pomade, but you also like powder, but you don't want it to be too soft and you don't want it to be too defined. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was really helpful. If it was, leave a like to let me know, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely don't be afraid to comment them down below and tell me what you'd like to see me do. But I just thought about posting this because I just think it's a cool little technique that I just learned by myself, and I really like the way it looked, and I feel like just in case if there's anyone else out there that's interested in how to do it or likes the way that they look and wants to know how to do it, now you can learn. So yeah, but thank you so much for watching. If you've stayed the entire time, thank you. Oh my goodness, you're amazing. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.